to technical difficulties, we have to do a voiceover. So today we're going to work on chicken fajitas. This is the chicken that we boned the other day in the chicken video. It's boneless, skinless. This is a really easy meal. We're not going to do the grill today. It's just I got too much video editing and other things to do, so what we'll do is show you how to make this. There's really nothing to the recipe. We want to cut the chicken in about that size, small pieces, about quarter to half inch slices, 3/4 of an inch long. We're going to take the chicken tenders off. We're going to try and even out the chicken and make it the same thickness. We'll take that bloodline where the wishbone hemorrhaged. Take that off. It's ugly. Nothing wrong with it. It's just blood in the meat. And we'll cut these up into strips. You want them in reasonably bite-sized pieces so that somebody can eat them. Now that's this chicken tender there. We're using it for fajitas today, but it's also good to make sautés with that. You could take that and thread it on a bamboo skewer and marinate it in a peanut sauce, Thai peanut sauce, and grill that and make Thai peanut sautés. This chicken's pretty thick. They're really big, so we're going to cut them down so the thickness isn't too much, and they're going to cook reasonably fast. We want to get all the chicken cut up, and then we'll go to the veg. The vegetables we're going to use today, I'm going to use a sweet onion, 1/2, and 2 bell peppers, and all I have is a half a bunch of cilantro. Usually I use a whole bunch. The marinade is basically an easy seasoning, and it's just basically lemon juice and seasoning. We'll show you how much to use. There's a lot of different things you can do to this. The base doubles as a stir-fry base depending on what seasoning you use. If you use Santa Maria, you can have a very mild, not spicy chicken fajitas, or you can use lemon pepper if you want. Today we're using Baja Spicy. I wanted to have a little chili in it, but not too much. The thing is with chili nowadays is what a lot of people don't realize. Peppers, when they're cold, it's not a big deal. They're really not that hot. But once you put heat to them and the capsaicin releases, they keep getting hotter. So depending on the chili you use, something like a serrano is going to have a lot of heat. A jalapeno will have a little bit of heat. And we're just going to go with the seasoning for heat. I have people in the house that I'm going to feed this to that aren't used to a hot spice. So now we're going to get to cutting the peppers. Now I'm going to show you an easy way to cut the peppers. Basically cut them in half and peel out the stem and the seed pod. And the reason we cut them like this is if we were making kebabs, this would make your kebab pieces, as I'm going to cut it away right now, and you could skewer those with chicken or beef or anything else, and then the pieces that are left over, usually when I do chicken kebabs, I'd make chicken fajitas with the uneven pieces and get 2 meals out of it. The kebabs might be for tonight, and then I'd marinate and slice up the fajitas and bag those up and let them cure, and I might have that tomorrow night. So this is an easy way to do nice even bell peppers for skewering. But since we're making fajitas with the entire pepper, once I get done cutting down the small pieces, and I like them small enough to where they're bite-sized, you don't want to choke on a pepper. So if you like squares, I like strips, whatever you're accustomed to. They cook really fast anyways. They're going to be done in a skillet with almost no oil, just enough to brush the bottom of the pan. Just enough so when I throw it in the hot skillet it doesn't stick. And it's going to take roughly cook time on full high 5 to 7 minutes. So we'll keep working this pepper, get all our veg cut, and then we'll get on to the seasoning part. This is one of my midweek things. I got ribs that are going to hit the grill tomorrow that we did the rib video. I'm trying to get everything up. I'll have a couple new ones coming up. Excuse me. And just keep doing this pepper, and I'm going to show you again, once I remove the seed pod, how to make kebab pieces. The vegetables, they come nice and even. That way when you skewer them, they don't split, and you're able to get really nice even peppers, which will actually work well when you're cutting your meat, because you're cutting, usually if you're going to do beef or chicken, they're going to be fairly large pieces, and they'll usually match the pepper size. So you want inch and a quarter pieces, and that way they'll cook more evenly. Usually when I do a kebab, I don't use tomato. Tomatoes get really soggy and want to fall through. I'll use bell peppers and sweet onion. Some people prefer red onion. It really depends on your preference. And then you can marinate in whatever you want to marinate in. Sometimes I like just a dry spice. Sometimes I prefer to go teriyaki. If I do a barbecue, it's typically on beef or chicken. I'll grill the meat primarily first and finish with a glaze. It seems to work out better because the meat's going to bleed when it's first on the grill. So all that juice is going to push outward, just like when you're cooking a steak. You put the meat on the grill, and it'll blow up after you sear both sides. It'll get puffy, almost like a balloon. And then after you pull it off the grill at rest, all the juices that were going out are going to go back into the meat, because temperature change, it's going to be hotter inside the steak than the cooler air, so it draws back in. When I do my onions, I don't like to waste all this time, but there's a couple of cheats to doing an onion where you're not crying. One is to put the onion in the freezer before you use it. Another one is just keep your onion refrigerated for a bit of time. I don't like to fight with the outer skins of the onion, so I usually cut the ends off and do a split, and then peel the outside edge around. In this case, the onions for fajitas, I just typically quarter it, and I cut the strips thin, so the onion will spread out, and you'll have small pieces of onion, and just like the peppers, they're very thinly sliced. You'll get some of that with your chicken in every bite, so it spaces out real nice. And you can see my chopper there sitting on the board. I can chop cilantro, but it's just so much easier to get a nice fine chop on it with with the I don't know what you even call it. Xylus was the first one to make it, slam chopper or whatever it is. But I can move it around. I can get more even chop. That way there's no stem or pieces. I use it for a lot of herbs. Um, it works out so you don't, like in the case of rosemary, you'd get, it's almost like pine needles. And one thing you don't want to do is be eating something and then all of a sudden you're chewing on a big pine needle. So with herbs, I like to chop them fine so they get spread out all over the place, and then add them to the. This is cilantro in the case, and I get to add that to the fajitas. Now we're going to do seasoning. Like I said before, these are all Scott's Food Products seasonings. I'll probably get up in a minute and clean my board, throw away the ugly piece of chicken, and put the onion away. So I have a clean work area to work on to finish this fajitas. The nice thing about this is real simple. Kids love chicken fajitas. Well, you can do beef or you could do pork, but it's one way to get them to eat their vegetables, because you're going to get vegetables in every bite. Typically when we do fajitas at the house, we'll roll them up in flour tortillas and put a dab of sour cream on them, and they are awesome. Nobody has ever turned away from fajitas. In fact, I did a party years ago for Newport Beach Fire Department at a place called the Dunes. It was a beach in the Back Bay. I made 55 pounds of chicken fajitas. So after the party, we fed all the fire stations in Newport Beach chicken fajitas for the entire day. Went around and filled up their refrigerators. I don't even remember what year that was, maybe 1991 or 92. So we'll come back with a clean board. Now we got the fajita mix together. So we're going to break out seasoning. I'm going to use Baja Spicy. I don't measure hardly anything when I'm doing fajitas. There's about 1.5 pounds of chicken and about 1.5 pounds of veg. This will serve approximately 4 people. Like you can use the lemon pepper or the Santa Maria if you're looking to go more mild. This is lemon juice that I was using in the brine video for the brine zucchini. And you know, it's just a little just enough to coat everything. Usually when I mix this up, I'd like to let it cure about 1 to 2 hours. Sometimes that doesn't always happen. Sometimes the house is hungry or everybody's hungry and I've just made fajitas and everybody wants to eat. It'll taste better if you wait the 1 to 2 hours, but it's not necessary. So you mix it up and put it in your fridge and let it cure. And if you're using good fresh chicken and all the veg is good, you're looking at 3 to 5 days shelf life in the refrigerator. Again, you're going to want to cook this. I think I've actually got some of the cooking video on here. We had some technical difficulty when we were doing this. Both mics were recording at the same time, so we had massive reverb. So you really couldn't hear what I was saying at all, and it was very annoying. So this is a voiceover vid. I might have forgot some things, I might not have. I know that I was talking about when we prepped the pork the other day. We took that pork skirt steak off and some of the flap meat, and we're going to marinate that, excuse me, in a citrus carne asada, and that'll go to the grill sometime later in the week for carne asada pork tacos. And I'll show you how to make that marinade as well, or we might go with one of Scott's stock marinades, or maybe we'll do multiple of them. There's three typical marinades, and I can kind of show you guys how they're marinated, and we don't have smell of taste division. It's kind of too bad because it would be great. I'd feed you all. But the fajitas are mixed and good to go, and I'm going to put it in the fridge, and we'll see if I get to 2 hours. Most likely I'll get 30 minutes, and then everybody's going to want to go. So as you see me kind of talking and moving my hands and I'm not speaking, that would be lost video or lost audio. But there are several other vids coming up in the next couple of days. We're doing editing right now, and it takes a bit of time. We're trying to narrow down a good video software. Having a little bit of difficulty since this is early in what we're trying to do. I'll try and get you guys some recipes. I'm a horrible typist, so I'm going to do voice to text, and we'll set up a card file with recipes that you can access whenever you want to access. So, and I also have a photo file of some of the stuff I've cooked over the last couple of years that I'm going to put up. Tomorrow is ribs. We're going to be doing an all-day smoke. I'll try and give you guys updates as time goes on, and we'll see how it is at 2 hours, maybe 4 hours, maybe 6. It's probably going to be 8 hours on a smoker, but I'm also going to throw some sausage on. I made some Jezebel. I don't know if it's 1 to 2 hours past. We'll bring this out of the fridge, get the tortillas ready. You can hit the tortillas in the microwave for about a minute, or you can put them over the top fajitas to steam them. So we put a small amount of oil in the pan. You can see the slight, and I'll basically move it around. I don't want a lot of oil sitting or anything. I just want enough to keep the pan basically greased. Tigger's just made a run for the border. And we basically are going to put the fajitas in, wait for the pan to get full high, and when it gets good and hot, then we're ready to go. It'll take a few minutes till the temperature's up enough to where I can put them in. When you're doing the fajitas, you want to run it full high, because this is boneless, skinless chicken breast. It's going to cook really fast. The vegetables are going to pretty much drop their water when they hit the skillet. You don't want to put too much in, so a handful at a time so you can cover the bottom of the pan. You don't want a pile of it, otherwise you'll end up with soup. There's a couple options off this fajita recipe. There's a nice stir fry option where you can take this same base recipe, serve it on a bed of rice with a stir fry sauce, something like Korean barbecue. That sauce is used to be kind of known as Japanese teriyaki. It's a little thicker, a little sweeter, Makes a fantastic stir fry sauce where you could add it to the skillet, stir fry your veg in it, and then throw it on a bed of rice. But for now, we're doing fajitas. What sometimes I do, this is almost a base for a Philly cheesesteak. You could do a chicken Philly cheesesteak and put it on a French roll and melt some cheese on it and do that. It's a really good base for a lot of different things. One of the best things about it is you can get kids to eat vegetables without them knowing that it's actually vegetables. They'll just eat it. It's fantastic. The lemon juice that we added to the seasoning will help cure the chicken, and it'll cure the spice in real nice. This takes, like I said, 5 to 7 minutes, so it'll be a little bit of a wait. We'll stir it every couple of minutes. And talk about upcoming videos. We made the barbecue sauce base. That video will probably pop today as well. Off of that, we made a raspberry chipotle, which I discussed on the trimming of the pork video. And I also made a smoked raspberry chipotle ham glaze, which I had to do a little tweaking to get the flavor right, but I have the recipes written. I just got a voice to text them, and we'll get them in the folder as soon as we can. Probably, I'm saying hopefully by the weekend, I can get that done. We put out quite a few videos in the last 5 to 7 days, and so far we're not slowing down, but we'll see how things go. The nice thing about fajitas is it's pretty much a complete meal. You got your meat, you got your veg, you could do some rice or some pinto beans on the side if you wanted to. Sprinkle a little queso fresco on it and make it even more complete. Or if it's a great meal for moms and dads who have kids that are working, because you can fix it one time and it can be in the fridge and you can just pull a little out, throw it in the skillet, and dinner served. So you don't have to continually mess up your kitchen, do a bunch of dishes. You just one skillet and you're good to go. A lot of times I'll serve directly from the pan. Today I'm probably going to put them in a bowl because I'm doing multiple batches, but it's getting close to being cooked. I'm checking the chicken. It'll lose its translucency. If you look at chicken when it's fresh and raw, it's very shiny and translucent, and if you were to tap it with a spoon, it bounces. It has a certain bounce. Steak does that too as well. And as it gets more cooked, it starts to lose that. Boneless skinless chicken breast is going to cook really fast. Boneless skinless chicken thigh, it takes a bit more time. The done temperatures for these, roughly breast is 165 and thigh is 180. So the thigh being fattier meat and dark meat, it's going to have to cook a little bit longer. And you can see here I poured the rest of the bowl in. It's quite a bit, but as I spread it out, since this is a really big skillet, I can stretch it all out all the way around the pan, and it's not too high or stacked because I want to get the sear on the chicken and the vegetables all the way around. So now we're in the sit wait phase. Wait for the chicken to get a little more cooked. As soon as it gets cooked a little bit more, since I have all this steam coming off these vegetables, if I didn't have a microwave, but I do, Typically, I'd steam the tortillas right over the fajitas. I'd lay two or three on there and let the steam from the vegetables soften the tortillas so when I roll them, they don't crack or break. This makes things a little bit easier. You're not running all around the kitchen to do one thing. You stay focused in one area. I've been making this dish for 35 years, and never once have I had somebody, oh, I hate chicken fajitas. They absolutely love the chicken, and some people prefer the beef. But the number one seller when I worked as a meat cutter was chicken fajitas. We used to make 40 to 60 pounds every day. So this is an easy way for you to make it at home and not buy $8, $9, $10 a pound chicken fajitas when you can get boneless, skinless breast, or you can bone your own. And start with something. Just pick up your bell peppers, your cilantro, and your onion. You have your spice, some spice, Scotch Santa Maria, lemon pepper, Baja spicy. Excuse me. And everybody typically has lemon juice, or you can buy a lemon or a squeezed lemon and just squirt some in there and then get you there. Working people, typically this is an easy dish for them because you can put the rest in a Ziploc bag and come back to it whenever you want to eat something. So it's steaming the tortillas here. We're going to put them on a plate, roll them up. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to add to the video. I'd definitely like you to like and subscribe. We're trying to do more things, but we definitely want to hear from the viewers out there. I'd love to have comments so I have something to answer to. I'm trying to get content up as fast as I can, and I want to get recipes up as well. The link should be up. We also have the web page, chasingthemissinglink.com. So if you don't see it on YouTube, you might find it there. As you can see, I'm just taking those softened tortillas, putting the meat in, and rolling them up. No sour cream today, but usually I'd put a dab of sour cream on. And it's time to eat. So thank you for watching the video, and hope to see you again soon.